Beautiful springs arrives with beautiful flowers. Beautiful autumn with the yellow leaves. Beautiful summer arrives with fruits, and beautiful winter with white snows. They're all beautiful, all the seasons. Everything in this country is beautiful. Well done, come on, let's go now. Later you will tell me one more if you can remember. Do you know another one? Later. There are folk remedies in our villages, as many as you wish. Cilantro, basil, thyme and others. It is enough just to boil them in tap water and you will immediately turn cheerful and smiling. It is a favorite place of mine. We love everything here. You can see how beautiful it is, how beautiful nature is. That's why we came back. Nature is clean, we are close to Sofia, and this enables people to travel, to work in the capital and come back in the evening. Dragoman municipality is located next to the western border of the Republic of Bulgaria. The municipal administrative center is the town of Dragoman. It is situated on a small high-altitude field in the western section of the Sofia Valley, about 36 kilometers west of Sofia and 15 kilometers east of the Republic of Serbia. The average altitude of the town is 722 meters. The municipality of Dragoman is poorly populated and the westernmost in Bulgaria. We are pleased to have in our territory the gateway to Europe, as some people call us. Although we are small in terms of population, we are quite large in terms of territory. We have 44 towns and villages. The municipality is interesting for the fact that it is still largely unknown. It is the consequence of another political regime when there were some special zones here, border areas with a limited admission and restricted access of people. From this perspective, the municipality now faces a lot of opportunities for development. We are still unexplored, still little known. The terrain where the municipality is located is of karst origin. The karst topography here is almost ubiquitous. Chepon, Triushi, the Nishava River Gorge, the Gabarski Stone. That's why the rainwater goes deep on the ground. Springs and streams resulting from it, due to the water-dividing nature of the region, have turned into tributaries of the two largest rivers flowing through the municipality, Gabarska and Nishava rivers. Another thing we are known for is that the so-called Mala Sveta Gora, the small holy mountain, is located here. There is an exceptionally high number of old-time monasteries here, some 45. Dragoman municipality consists of 44 towns and villages, as it includes the small geographic area of Burel. It encompasses 22 villages locked between Aldumirovsko field, Grauvo, Znepole, the rivers Nevljanska, Eževica and the Dragoman marsh. We have Europe's largest wetland in our territory, the so-called Dragoman marsh, which is the size of around 400 football pitches. This is our new tourist site. The Dragoman marsh, it's not new, but was just newly opened. This is like a beautiful site that was hidden from our eyes, which we now rediscover, study, and are happy to have it. In 2011, the Ministry of Environment and Water added the Dragoman Marsh karst complex to the national list of wetlands of international importance, which includes some of the last surviving marshes of karst origin in Bulgaria. This is the newest wetland in the country, put on the list of the convention. Chepin Mountain and the Dragoman Marsh are part of Natura 2000 network, and they are also ecologically connected. The Dragoman Marsh karst complex, an integral part of this marsh, is the so-called Aldumirovsko marsh. On a clear day, one can see the marsh very well beyond Chepin. Afterwards, we will descend to the marsh itself in order to see the endemic species, to take a walk and explore this area. The Dragoman marsh is the only one in Bulgaria of karst origin, which lends it a unique environmental significance. Along with the wet meadows stretching from the town of Dragoman to the village of Tsirklevci, it has been declared a spot of ornithological significance. The marsh and the Chepin area have been designated a representative habitat of European importance for the preservation of biodiversity. The Dragoman marsh is not a new tourist site, as it is advertised on TV. It was of exceptional interest for the citizens of Sofia before September 9, 1944. Even Tsar Boris III used to come here to observe insects, especially the dragonfly, which is in fact the most beautiful and the smallest predator because it feeds on bloodworms. Birds are the greatest wealth of the Dragoman marsh. It is an important stopover for migratory waterfowl, because it is located on the ancient migratory route Via Aristotelis. Until now, 220 bird species have been identified in the area, of which 125 nest and raise their young here. The marsh is of vital importance for the nesting of two globally endangered species, the ferruginous duck and the corncrake. Among the new nesting species are the grey duck, the common pochard, the great crested grebe. And since 2007, the great white heron has been nesting and raising its offspring here. The grey and purple heron, the great and little bittern, the little ringed plover and many others. The otter is one of the rarest mammals inhabiting the marsh. And among reptiles, most common are the European pond terrapin and the grass snake, a harmless non-toxic species. Another 6 species of frogs and 2 species of newts find here their breeding ground. Here is a turtle hatchling. The egg was cracked yesterday. We took out the eggshells and are now waiting for it to start moving on its own, and behold, it started using its feet slightly. From my experience, I can tell you that it weighs about 9 grams. It is a rather large specimen. Yes, they are very sweet, they require special knowledge. One should very well know them, monitor them and protect them. I promised to call him Danny after a boy who was a volunteer and contributor here. And tonight I will call him on the phone and tell him that Danny was born. Here goes Danny. If we now go to the Dragoman marsh, we will find ourselves amidst an oasis of greenery. Surrounded by tall reeds, cane and bulrush, the fresh air of the water will affect us very favorably, and we will feel delighted. Looking from the watchtower, we might even imagine a vast territory and a sense of tranquility, which brings peacefulness to the soul and joy to the eyes. As part of mountainous Bulgaria, the Dragoman area has its characteristic climate. The average annual temperature is around 8 degrees Celsius. This is enhanced by the barren karst landscape, which gets chilly in winter and is unable to stop the gusts of almost constantly blowing winds in summer. There are several routes to climb the top called Petrovsky Cross. One is an easy path, bypassing on the north side. The other one goes through the neighborhood, climbing to the middle of the ridge and continuing along it. And the third one, which is safest for all kinds of tourists, is along the ridge itself from start to finish. Tourism in wetlands is beneficial to humans and wildlife, both locally and nationally. Stronger economies, sustainable livelihood, healthy people and thriving ecosystems. One of the main priorities of the new local government is reflected in the strategy for development of the municipality in the period 2007-2013, as well as in the management program for the mandate 2011 until 2015, is the development of tourism in all its varieties. You know what I like best? It's the clean air, the peace and quiet. That's what I love in the countryside. At first glance, Chopin Mountain is of alpine character and steppe vegetation. But actually, this is an exception of nature, perhaps as Dragoman locals themselves, because the north side is a sloping water catchment area covered in deciduous forests, while the southern side is rocky and steep, dotted with scree and boulders. My favorite place in Dragoman. Well, I love nature a lot. This is one of the nice things in Dragoman, because it is peaceful and there are many nice places to visit. We have a big mountain, a river, we have a marsh, a forest. There is so much diversity, and if you love nature, it is just great to climb up and watch the sunrise. A favorite place such as a nice bar or similar stuff, you can find it anywhere. Chapin is interesting for having exceptional vegetation, part of which are endemic species, such as the Urumov tulip, which is seen here not only in its popular yellow color, but also in red. In the month of May, Chapin is painted in grey-purple nuances, because this is the blooming season of the pink almond, which is 80 centimeters tall. Its fruits are not edible, but along with the lilac and the thyme, it lends a pinkish shade to the landscape against the backdrop of the grey rocks. Well, it all has its pros and cons. The best thing in my childhood was, because I grew up here, it was that I was free to do whatever I want. I had a bike, I was going around with a bike all day long, all over mountains, rivers and marshes. We have a very beautiful marsh, something you cannot find in Sofia. We used to play a lot with a ball. I can even tell you a story. I was walking along the street and I saw a group of kids standing close to the sidewalk holding a ball. So I asked them, what type of game are you playing? And they responded, we play Minecraft. I looked at them completely bewildered and I saw that the ball was just a decoy as they were huddling close to each other holding a tablet. There's no more to say, it is sad. Characteristic for the entire municipality is vegetation belonging to the Balkan floristic province of the European deciduous forest area. A large number of endemic and relict species of scientific importance have found refuge here. Prevailing are the deciduous forest formations of the pubescent oak, Quercus virgiliana oak, the Hungarian oak, the field elm, the field maple, the manna ash and others. Yes, it is suitable for such people to come here and study flowers and herbs. There are plenty of herbs growing here. I just can't remember right now their exact number, but it's full of plants and also many animal species. The tourist center in Dragoman is very useful for these destinations, which can be visited in the territory of Dragoman municipality. There are many interesting drawings in the center, many messages from children which one can sincerely admire. And to tourists who have come for a longer period with a scientific goal, as I already said, we provide for them impermeable clothes, we provide a boat. One can stay longer and wait for the right moment in order to see or take pictures of interesting birds and animals. Among shrub species dominant in certain microgroups are the common hawthorn, the blackthorn, the wild briar, the clematis, the hazel, the common maple, the beech, fir, spruce, black pine, the Scots pine and others. The grass cover is extremely diverse, including flowers, herbs and mushrooms. Alongside popular herbs and flowers, one can find here also rarer species, some even included in Bulgaria's Red Book. Of highest interest for scholars are Chepan Mountain and the marsh locality. And in the end, everybody returns to their native place. Soils here are of varied types. Most characteristic are the vertisols, which are rich in humus. On the low river terraces, well developed are alluvial gleic soils and alluvial marsh soils. Above them, on the lower mountain sections, there are gleic chromic camby soils, and along the crest plateau and the mountain slopes, alluvic camby soils and forest chromic camby soils. Soil erosion is active in the entire area, which is why, in many places, the soil is washed out, and the landscape invokes a feeling of despondency with its rugged cliffs, scree, landslides and dry valleys. Burel is a very beautiful mountainous part of Bulgaria. Small rivers are flowing, with villages scattered alongside. Interestingly, you enter the village and you can see a roof here and a roof there, but it is not until you get to the house itself that you actually see it. The Burelska River originates from streams and small wells around the village of Brusnik. It receives its waters from Ozaranovska River, Radulovska River, Bakhalino, which includes Kambelevska River, collecting its waters from the fountains and wells in the village of Yarlovci and the village of Chukovezer, Churolski Stream, the spring at Banyata and the Kalugarica River, close to the village of Nesla, which are right-bank tributaries, as well as the Mala Rakovica River, the short drying streams from the village of Tsatsarovci, Chekanska River, Novoselska River, the largest tributary, and Nevlyanska Creek as left-bank tributaries. When you come here, you can imagine Anton Donchev's description from his novel Time of Violence about the villages he depicts. When they move farthest up, they see clearly the three villages in the valley. And it's the same here: Yablutina, Nesla and Chekanets, although the villages are not so well visible as they are described in the book. The largest river is Nishava, which flows through the municipalities of Godech, Dragoman and then proceeds to the town of Dimitrovgrad in the territory of Serbia. Another local landmark is the Nishava River, mostly for avid fishermen. Currently the river is no longer as polluted as it was 10 years ago. Pollutants of the past are no longer present, and sometimes even the trout comes down here, as local fishers say. The Nishava River is the largest in the municipality of Dragoman. It originates from the southeastern slope of Mount Kom. In ancient geological times, its waters carved into the mountain breast a beautiful gorge spreading 12 kilometers between the villages of Razboiste and Kalotina. In this section, the river is slow and quiet, running deep during rainfall and melting snow. It is slow because of the many meanders and slight elevation changes. Its right-bank tributaries are Stanianska River, a ponor flowing into Nishava close to the Razboishki Monastery, the Cheparlyanska Creek running dry in summer, and a streamlet from the karst spring above the village of Berendeizvor. Left-bank tributaries are Drakol flowing into Nishava close to Razboiste and running dry in summer, Ezhovica River flowing into Nishava close to Kalotina, with its tributary Letnica also running dry in summer. Nishava, which is winding from below, a magnificent place where I have many childhood memories. We used to go there and make football competitions. Nishava is very suitable for bathing in this section. There were great bathing spots, but now I have no idea in what state they are. But some of them were really deep and one could swim. We would literally go there to the beach, taking the Saturday morning trains and going back on Sunday evening. And it was full of people, from Godech, Dragoman, Slivnica. Those like me who had gone to study in Sofia were impatient to wait for the summer to come and go there. In zoological aspect, the fauna of the region is of Palearctic type, in particular comprising species mainly of the temperate latitudes. There are also species typical for southern Europe with a distribution in the Mediterranean area of the Palearctic ecozone, the so-called Mediterranean species. As typical for the vertebrate fauna of the region and included in Bulgaria's Red Book of Endangered Species, one can indicate the taxa: amphibians, the alpine newt, the green toad, the common spadefoot and the yellow-bellied toad. From reptiles, the Asclepian snake, the common European adder, the grass snake, the horned viper, the common wall lizard, the European copper skink or Sinis viper, the European pond terrapin, Hermann's tortoise and the Greek tortoise. Hunting certainly is practiced here, and this is evidenced by the fact that there are 17 groups of hunters and fishermen in the area. It means there is plenty of game. There are many mammals in the region included in Bulgaria's Red Book, such as wolf, fox, wild boar, deer, otter, badger, pine marten, long-fingered bat and many others. There are all kinds of animals and also hunting parties. Almost every village has a group of hunters who go hunting for quail and other game. Maybe the conservation of wildlife, the environmental protection, the attitude to hunting itself must change. Hunters themselves should change their attitude towards hunting. Or as we Bulgarians say, you first need to sow before you reap. A total of 181 bird species have been identified in the region. Most birds are seen during migration, especially in springtime. The largest owl species in Bulgaria, which is yellow-brown with big yellow eyes, is actually found here in Chepon. There are many types of eagles, such as the long-legged buzzard, which has the ability to stay in the air in one place. This is a spectacular sight. There are many protected species in the marsh, as hunting there is forbidden. The Dark Hole Cave is located near the village of Lipinci and about half a kilometer from the Bachishte hamlet above the village of Berendeizbor. It is 425 meters long, dotted with diverse cave decorations. The cave is quite long, and officially I've read that it is about 500 meters long, but according to stories of locals, the other end of the cave reaches the territory of the Republic of Serbia. The Dark Hole Cave was declared a natural landmark. It is a bit difficult to access because there is no lighting inside, no marking exists, but amateur cavers have published photos. Inside there are stalactites, stalagmites and various other cave formations. And on top of that, There are some stone formations resembling stone bathtubs, which are an astonishing creation of nature. Century-old trees are found close to the village of Berendeizvor. The most impressive among them has a trunk circumference of about 8 meters. It's great here, we have century-old trees. Plates were put on them in 1988 with the inscription "Century-old trees", and imagine how many years have elapsed since then. The Dubnik Natural Arch, a karst formation located high in the limestone cliffs west of Berendeizvor village. The opening of this arch has a size of almost 5 meters. Hello also from me, my dear guests, dear children. For the second consecutive year, Dragoman municipality is pleased to host this National Volunteers Camp. As a great motto, we can mark the start of the camp itself. The adventure continues, good always wins in the end. For us, kindness has always come first. Certainly it will charge us with many new emotions, with many new friendships. I hope we will have a great time and plenty of fun. I really wish you an exciting adventure. We want to motivate young people and direct them to good development, to the proper development, to proper thinking. In a nutshell, to everything that is correct. With this type of camps, we want to stimulate what is right inside of them. It is actually called Friends with Nature, and today we will make bird feeders with care for the environment. And we will use car tires to make beautiful flower pots, which is another way to improve the urban environment. The consumption of alcohol or drugs leads to disorientation and erratic behavior on the road, which threatens not only the consumer but all participants in the traffic. As an example of such behavior, we will make a demonstration with interactive glasses, as putting them on, you will get the feel and behavior of participants in traffic who have consumed various amounts of alcohol or drugs. The sole purpose here is that children can interact together in a spirit of tolerance, enjoy what they do, be creative and develop naturally, not only their communication skills but also their motor skills. All kinds of skills based on their interests. We want to show them local traditions, local beliefs, philosophies of life which are positive. Once again, we would like to thank the mayor of Dragoman for being so responsive and open to these social events, so people can see from outside that we're moving into the right direction, and they could join us. Foreign tourists can come here if they really want to see a beautiful country. Church tourism, eco-tourism and what's not. Nature is very, very nice. And perhaps my villages are the best, with the most beautiful nature. Full of history, full of traditions and beliefs. But unfortunately, very few tourists come here, because it has remained just as part of our folklore that we are very hospitable. We ourselves seem to have become more alienated and less welcoming. I invite everybody who loves tourism. It's just that calmness here enables people to have a really good rest in the weekend. The people who want to get away from the urban stress can come to our humble village and take a walk here. The extremely valuable natural landmarks determine the high value of the area nationally. The high rocks of the karst terrain, the karst formations attract the attention of climbers, cavers and hang gliders, and the unexplored terrain of archaeologists and botanists. The beautiful landscape and almost pristine nature could help turn this municipality into a magnet for lovers of mountain tourism. The forest, there is so much diversity here, and if you love nature, it is just great to climb up and see the sunrise. Let them come and see if they want. No doubt they will not regret it. Then, as they go up the gorge, there are monasteries, there are churches, farther up, famous ones mentioned in books. You'd better come here to plant potatoes. You can also plant some long fleshy peppers, leeks and cabbage for winter. And if you buy a small pig for winter, you will even have some bacon, and you will not need a single penny. Yes, we really have everything in our village. We need nothing. The only problem is the road infrastructure, which is not good here. Otherwise, we have everything. We have water, we have electricity, health. People never get sick. Since I am mayor, no one has passed away. The only person who died was aged 98. We have to respect ourselves, to respect the people around us. In this way, we will respect also our guests. But people come for the warm attitude, and not only to see or receive something. No one is going to come and give us money just like that. If Western European tourists simply want to spend their money somewhere in an alternative way, not on famous and rich resorts, then you will be of the biggest use, namely for our own society, for Bulgarians, in order to raise a bit our national self-esteem, because we feel constantly crushed, suppressed, devastated by the bad news. Never give up.